Hello everybody, Joe Bag of Donuts here. Welcome back for another episode of Umineko. I'm tired. I stayed up late yesterday, not doing anything productive at all. I'm just, a fucking boomer having a midlife crisis. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like playing some Pokemon, but like, I want to play like the games I played when I was a kid. So I'm like, man, any re-releases of the fucking Gen 1, Gen 2s, and not like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Fire Red, fucking Let's Go, like the OGs, And it's like, yeah, you can always emulate them, but I'm like, nah, like I want to do it real, actually be able to like carry them forward and stuff. Not that I'm even big into Pokemon, but just cuz. And I'm like, oh damn, look, they're on the 3DS. I have a 3DS. I haven't touched it in years. I'm like, oh look, the 3DS like eShop shuts down in 5 days. That's gonna be I think it's like the March 27th, 2023 for all you people concurrently watching. Or if you're watching in the past to know when it would shut down, which is going to be like a couple days when this video goes live, but I managed to snag Yellow and Crystal. I didn't play Gen 1. I played Gen 2 when I was a kid. I was born in 96. So I grew up in like the fucking boom, the heat of Pokemania. And I would rent it from Blockbuster. I'd rent Crystal from Blockbuster. I was about to say I never owned any of the Gen 1, Gen 2 games myself until a lot later. Like, it was like sophomore year of middle school. I like gave someone $15 for an old cartridge of Blue. And by that point, like, the internal battery had died and everything. So, not that you really need it as much for Gen 1, because Gen 1 didn't have, like, the day-night cycle, but it affects, like, the save states of the game and whatnot. Anyway, it was like, it's like, alright, yeah, it's nice to have, but, I can't really do anything with it. And that was way before, like, all the new apps for, like, transferring your Pokemon before you would need to trade from like Blue to like Gen 2 from like, you'd have to also trade that forward to Gen 3, and for Gen 3 you'd have to like insert it into your DS in the Game Boy slot, and then you'd be able to like transfer it over to like fucking Diamond and Pearl. Well, then Platinum. I never played Platinum. I had Pearl. Yeah, I never played Platinum. Anyway, you know what I mean. So now I'm playing through Yellow. Never played through Yellow before. Only ever did the OG gens. And I know Yellow's different than them because it has some changes to make it more like the anime. Like Jesse and James are there. You get Pikachu in the beginning, but you're able to pick up all three starters fairly early on. I'm only just beat Misty and Cerulean City, and I already have fucking Bulbasaur and Charmander and Pikachu. They're all way under level though, because I'm actually playing it like swapping out my mate, all my Pokemons, and I'm gonna complete the decks, guys. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get my little certificate and get my little Game Boy printer and print it out. It's gonna be great. Anyway, you don't want to hear me talk about Pokemons. What's up? We got some new weird fucking demons, because those sound like demon names. Fucking Zepar and Furfur. New Beatrice need her own furniture.
甘いものに限らず、何でもよくお召し上がりになりますよ。
After waiting for the master of the study to be out, Beato and Kumasawa entered the study. Then, they quickly tidied away the books on the desk, set down the basket they had brought there, and began spreading out the contents. Inside were several cute cookies cut out in a butterfly shape. Maybe, like, he had those books out for a reason, and, he was referencing them, so, I'm one of those people where it's like, my desk is cluttered, but I know where everything is in the clutter. If you move it on me, it's like, now I have no idea where all my shit is. They set out a cute plate and neatly decorated it with the cookies. It was the kind of slight adornment that the person eating wasn't likely to even notice. I got something in my eye. Jesus. I just fucking rolled out of bed. Got woken up by my work group chat just fucking being blown up. they weren't even talking about it. They were just fucking hitting the reaction buttons to messages. So it's just like this person, a thumbs up to this. This person, fucking smile to this. Just like 5 minutes straight, and I'm like, alright, guess I'm fucking waking up. The whole setup was filled with that sort of feeling.
愛しのお父様とやらのために精が出るな。今の私に許されていることはこんなことくらいですので。わらわがバトラにクッキーをか。なぜに夜の支配者であるわらわが稀な客人であるバトラにそこまで尽くすのか。
Then, the study door swung open violently. It was Battler, with Genji by his side. Battler's eyes went wide for a second when he saw Byato there, but his expression quickly went blank again.
ここで何をしている？
お父様、失礼しました。決して大切なゲームの邪魔に来たわけでは。
どうしてここに入れた？ここには鍵がかかっていたはず。
申し訳ございません。親方様に内密で差し入れをお届けしたいとのことで。
ほら、見てあげてくださいませ。親方様に喜
All
ん
work,
で
no
もらお
play,
う
and
と、
fucking all
ベ
that
アトリ
shit.
ーチェ
That
様
one.
が一生懸命クッキーを焼いたんですよ。
熊沢さんと源氏さんに習いました。源氏さんがクッキーを焼くのがお上手だったなんて、とても驚きました。
Oh yeah, Genji's real good at making sweets, huh?
最近は全然ですけど、昔の源氏さんはそれはもういろいろなお料理を作ってくれたんですよ。
Did he used to have a shitty haircut and mustache too?
特にお菓子作りはお上手で。
クッキー？
はい、お父様への差し入れです。大切なゲームの必勝を心よりお祈りいたしております。
Battler looked at the plate on the study desk that was piled up with beautiful cookies, and the message card of encouragement laying next to it. And his face twisted with a complex expression, which might have had traces of both sadness and anger contained within it.
親方様。
In not so many words, Genji prompted him to consider giving Biyato's efforts some kind of acknowledgement. Battler understood. He had no reason to respond to this kindness with displeasure. However, even though he understood that logically, all he could do was give a small, exasperated sigh.
ありがとう。感謝する。だが甘いものは苦手だ。下げてくれ。
親方様。
同じことをもう一度言わせるな。片付けて下がってくれ。
Oh, don't be a fucking, you know...
親方様、せめて一口お口に運ばれるわけには参りませんか。ベアトリーチェ様が親方様のためを思いこしらえたものでございます。
気持ちはありがたく受け取っておく。今は大切なゲームの最中だ。
Yeah, you know sugar is good for the brain. It helps you think.
俺にとっても、ベアトにとっても大切な最後のゲームなんだ。だから頼む。
So he says, but the episode count
俺の
begs to
心を
differ.
かき乱すような真似は慎んでくれ。
それはあまりにもひどうございます。気持ちは感謝する。大いに結構でございます。しかし、それ
I
を
know you're
せ
all
めて
fucking
一
bent out of
口
shape
お召
about
しに
last
な
week
る
and have a
形
pole
で
up
は
your
お
ass,
示
but
しで
like,
きませ
come
んか。
on.
お父様。
Byato looked at Battler sadly. Battler hung his head to avoid her gaze. The expression on his face was more pained than any he had shown Byato before.
熊沢、それを片付け、下がるように。
親方様。
Kumasawa implored Battler to listen, but he turned his back to her.
失礼しました。片付けましょう、熊沢さん。
そういうわけには参りません。大切なゲームに少しでも力添えしたいベアトリーチェ様が、せめてこのような形でもお力になりたいと。
I know you're in like your fucking your brooding mood where you're like, no, my connections to her will only weaken me for the trials to come. I cannot partake in these cookies. It's like, just eat the fucking cookie, dude.
それを一口さえせずに下げろとは、女をバカにするにも程がございます。
熊沢。
親方様も男ならば、女の手作りの差し入れにせめてどうか一口で結
At
構で
least
ござ
then
い
you
ます。
complain that, like, oh,
お手をつけてくださ
you
いま
mixed
し。
up the sugar with the salt.
女の気持ちを踏みにじろうというおつもりでしたら、この熊沢殺されたってここは引きませんよ。ええ、引きません。
熊沢さん、もう結構ですから。
そういうわけには参りません。親方様、これに
Yes,
毒でも入って
preach,
いると
queen.
お思いですか？
Go off. Yeah. If Beato ever came to give me cookies, of course I'd think that she put some kind of crazy poison in them. She asked me if I thought there'd be poison in these? How could anyone ever think that cookies like these, piled up in such a neat and cute way, could possibly have some bizarre hidden inside? And who could possibly believe that Beato would make something like this? I mean, unless you consider raisin poison. You know, they might be in there, but... Because of that, Battler couldn't bear to look at Beato's innocent reaction, which was completely free from any malicious thoughts of slipping poison into the cookies. Beato quietly started to clean up. Every now and again, she sniffled. Kumasawa had been glaring at Battler continuously, but she now gave a small sigh and helped Beato clean up. However, the hardness didn't disappear from her expression.
失礼しました。お父様、それでは失礼いたします。
呼ぶな。俺をお父様と呼ぶな。ベアトは俺をそんな呼び方をしたことは一度もない。
はい。
I'm so fucking weird about this dude.
失礼いたしました。
Hanging her head so low that her chin touched her chest, Beato hurried out of the study. After giving Battler a look, Kumasawa chased after her. She shut the door a bit violently, and the footsteps of the pair rapidly disappeared off into the distance.
"実の妹が言うのもなんだけど、複雑な気
Yeah.
持ちだわ。相手がベアトでさえなければ素直に女の敵と言えるのにか。私はお兄ちゃんとベアトがどうして慣れ合ってるのかさっ
Yep,
ぱり
not a
わから
clue
な
at
い。
all. Nope.
今思ってベアトは倒すべき私たちの最大の敵だと思ってる。でもだからといってあのお兄ちゃんの対応は女として愉快じゃないわ。
I mean, I don't think you have to be a woman to dislike it. It was just rude.
バトラの気持ちも少しはわかるがな。悲しいことだ。
Still don't understand what kind of bad blood or connection there was between them. However, Oni-chan probably views Beato as a friendly adversary, if not something more. Oni-chan's reason for defeating Beato isn't to destroy an enemy out of hatred. Feels like he wants to give a sincere answer to her questions. Yes, I can't deny the fact that their fight isn't based on hatred, but on a stronger emotion.
さらに言えば、あそこまで冷たくされて、それでもなおお兄ちゃんに尽くそうとするベアトも大したもんだわ。もう一人の姉のベアトと私も同意見よ。どうしてお兄ちゃんにあそこまで尽くすのか理解できないわ。
Well, she's fucking imprinted like a new fucking baby
そして
chicken.
その理解できぬ要素は1000年を経て変化を遂げるとはいえ、紛れもなく我々の知る黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェに受け継がれるものである。ええ、理解しているわ。このベアトを知ることもまたやがてのベアトを知ることにつながる。そしてそれは
A bit of a bitter
こ
pill
の
to
おかしな
swallow,
ゲームで最大の大駒と、あるいはこのゲーム版そのものを説明するかもしれない。謎多き魔女であるな。
Though she said those words, Featherine wore a confident smile on her face. Her sarcastic confidence, as though she already knew the answer, was unchanged.
ベアトリーチェ、話を聞きたいわ。はい、何でしょうか、エンジェさん。
Beato, who had been reading a fragment book in the shadows of the study, jumped when Anjay called out to her.
あなたはなんで後宮バトラをお父様と呼ぶの？私という駒を生み出してくださったからです。ではどうして後宮バトラにそこまで尽くすの？駒は生み出した造物種に絶対服従しなくてはならないルールでもあるの？
I mean, it makes sense. But it
そん
seems
な
a
ル
little
ールは
deeper.
ない。駒は道具、あるいはナイフだ。
Oh, so if you drop the knife on your foot, it'll still stab you.
ゲームマスターが上手に扱えば便利な道具になる。しかし扱いを間違えれば自らを傷つけもする。道具になろうと凶器になろうと、そこに道具の意志はない。ただ結果があるだけだ。じゃあどうしてあんたはお兄ちゃんにアームを尽くすの？まるでそれはあなたという駒の目的かのようだわ。はい、それが私が生み出された目的だからです。
Mm-hmm.
あんたを生み出したお兄ちゃん自身がその目的を与えたの？それは違う。
Yeah, it seems a little more complicated than that.
バトラはゲームマスターとしてそういう役目を持った駒を盤上に置いたに過ぎない。そして彼女という駒を生み出したのはこのゲームを生み出した最初のゲームマスターである、ベアトリーチェ自身だ。ややこしい話だわ。
Hey, I'm with you there, Andre.
つまりあんたはお兄ちゃんのことをお父様呼んでるけど、
It just means
別に
Beatrice has
父
like
親
a
ってわ
daddy
けじゃ
thing.
ないのね。あんたはお兄ちゃんに尽く
I
さな
mean,
け
it's
れば
very
ならない
clear
という
that
目的の
Beatrice
ため
has a
に。
lot of issues, so, you know, it makes sense you could chalk up daddy issues into the mix and, you know, doesn't change much.
親しみを込めてお父様と呼んでるだけだわ。はい、そうだと思います。私という駒を盤上に置いてくださったのがお父様です。お父様が盤上に置かなければ私という駒の出番はありません。ですから私がここにこうして存在し、そして私の目的のために尽くせるのは全てお父様のおかげなのです。なるほど。そしてそれはお父様と呼ぶのにふさわしいってわけね。じゃあ誰があんたにお兄ちゃんに尽くすように命じたの？ああ、それは初代ゲームマスターのベアト自身よね。ややこしい。
Yep. Never can be straightforward.
なぜにそなたは後宮バトラに尽くさねばならぬのかとしかしそれを彼女に答えることはできぬ。彼女に与えられたのは目的だけだ。その目的を与えた動機は与えた本人にしかわからぬのだから。なるほど。それも考えてみるがいい人の子よってわけね。で、ついでにあんたにはもうその察しがついていて、ニヤニヤしながら私が悩んでいるのを見ているってわけだわ。そなたは我が巫女としてつくづく優秀だ。私はお父様に尽くします。
That's great. Good
私
for
の
you,
存在が
Beatrice.
お父様の幸福のお役に立てる。それが私の一番の喜びです。そして
At that point, Beato hesitated.
何？そして何を？はい。そしてそれをいつかお父様にお認めいただければ、それが私の一番の幸せなのです。何よそれ。尽くしたいってだけならまさに魔女の家具ねと言いたいところだけど、それを認めてもらいたい？それじゃ家具ってより。
Yeah, damn crazy. But, you know, Beato is Beatrice's piece, not furniture. She's technically different. Andre stopped mid-sentence. That's less like furniture and more like You're just a girl who loves Oni-chan. I don't get it. The guiding force behind this Biyato's actions is that of a girl who adores Oni-chan. But then, what would that make her? If she likes Oni-chan, then she should have adored him and done things for him herself. Why would she create a piece of herself, a separate entity, to do it? This way, even if she does attract Oni-chan's attention, it will be towards the piece version of herself, not the creator who made that piece. If I ever fall in love with someone, I'll probably want to do things for them. But of course, I would want to do those things myself. After all, I would want him to notice me. This love is destined to go virtually unrewarded. No matter how devoted she is, she will never get anything out of it. And she's done this out of her own free will. Biyato's behavior looks no different than that of an average girl in love. She's devotedly doing all she can for him, dreaming that her kindness will eventually be acknowledged. Why would Biyato create a piece like this? Is putting it in terms of romance a bit too confusing? And let's try using food as an example. It's as pointless as creating a piece of food. A piece to eat. What? A piece to eat food for you. No matter how much food your piece eats on your behalf, you won't get any less hungry, right? You are the one who wants to eat. There's no reason for having a piece do that in your place. For most jobs in the world, you can get someone else to do it for you. However, with love and food alone, there can never be any meaning in letting another person do it in your place. That's right. This Biyato is created as a piece for an impossible reason. Though at a glance, she looks just like a normal girl. The more I learn about her, the less I understand. Like an imaginary number. Yeah, let's not get into imaginary numbers, please. Anything above trig, you just start losing me.
そしてお父様の望まれる私もそうは呼んでいませんでした。そうね。かつてのあんたは誰が相手でも呼び捨てにしてたわ。だからといってお父様を呼び捨てにはできません。せめてバトラさんと呼ぶように努力はしたいと思います。あんなに冷たくされてよくめげないものね。いえ、バトラさんは今大切なゲームに臨まれています。
He's a little high-strung.
相手は大ベルンカステル教の駒、強敵エリカ教です。いよいよゲームが佳境に差し掛かろうというデリケートなところに私がしゃしゃり出てバトラさんが望まないお父様という言葉をかけてしまったのですから、機嫌を崩されても無理ないことです。
I mean, doesn't mean he was right to do it, you know, to fucking have a little hissy fit. Apparently, Biyato still wanted to devote herself to Battler, even after being treated in such a cold manner. Though to an outsider, it just looks as though she's being snubbed. It doesn't faze her at all. It truly is the blindness of a girl in love.
それとも、私に愛がないから見えない。愛があれば、見えぬものが見えることもあろうな。
Biyato once again immersed herself in the fragment book that told of her former self. She was trying to find something about the Biyato that Battler desired. Hanji shrugged, as though saying, well, I don't get it. Featherine laughed when she saw this, and quipped that an innocent young woman could never understand. Yeah, he wants to go back to the days of round 2 when, you know, she'd fucking parade him around the hall on all fours naked wearing a collar. It awoke something in him. Anjay grumbled something back unhappily. Their interactions seemed to have no effect whatsoever on Biyato as she sat in the shadows of the library. After chasing all the others out, only Battler remained in the study. There was no color in this dimly lit room. However, for just a short time that the plate of cookies had been placed there, the room had seemed at least a little cheery. Battler's gaze drifted over to the desk, which no longer had anything on it. When he did, the cookie plate that had been there until a second ago was revived. However, it was an illusion. Though the cookies could have looked... who's fucking texting me? I don't care about that. Though the cookies could be looked at, they cannot be touched, much less eaten. If Battler wished, he could make it possible to touch them or eat them, but it would be an empty sensation. It would only give the touch and taste that Battler desired. He no longer had any way of knowing what kind of cookies they had actually been. In a reception sofa facing Battler, a cloud of gold butterflies slowly gathered, took the form of the old Beato.
ほら食べろよ。わらわが珍しく手作りしたのだぞ。安心せよ。自信作であるぞ。
お嬢様の場合、むしろ自信作の方が不安になろうというものですな。
まったくだぜ。お前が作るクッキーなんて、どうせおかしな毒が入ってるに決まってら。
それは心外な。仮に入っていた
Yeah,
とし
she
て
could have even have
も、
like
そなたのあれ
spit
が
in the
そうなっ
batter,
て
God
こうなっ
forbid.
ちゃうかもしれない程度のもんではないか。そういうことばかり普段からしているからバトラ君に食べてもらえないのです。手料理に何か入れるなんて基本でしょ。爪に髪の毛、
You know, a little bit of needle.
愛のかけら。あんたたちだったら何を入れるの？
何も入れません。美味しく自分でいただいちゃいます。だと思ったわ。あんたは出落ちなのよ、まったく。でも女は3つの袋をつかめって言うし、胃袋は最初の第一歩よね。次がお財布の袋で、
3 sacks.
3つ目は何かしら。
Oh, gee, I wonder.
男を振り向かせるなら、身も心も魂さえも全てを私のために捧げさせたい。だからこそ私は手料理に全ての力と
I
愛
don't
情
know,
を
I'm real
注ぎ
lazy
込め
when
る
it
の。
comes to cooking, because I always just cook for myself, you know. Throw a little salt and pepper on that chicken breast, throw it in, comes out, you know, fucking dry as like, you know, fucking Play-Doh. I'm like, yeah, that's good stuff.
いずれにせよ手料理を食べさせ
But
る
not
のは
like new
個々
Play-Doh,
不
like
変の
Play-Doh
成
that's
功
been
法と
sitting
言え
in
る
its
だろうな。
container for like 7 years, and it's kind of like it doesn't stick to itself anymore. Like once you break it, it just like won't like whoosh back into like one ball.
バカバカしい。そんな小細工をしないと男心一つつかめないなんて情けないったらありゃしないわ。
Yeah, duh. The quickest way is to go under the rib cage.
お姉様が男心をどの程度おつかみになった経験がおありか聞いてみたいものですけど。
バトラー、何もおかしなもんは入ってないから食ってくれよ。わらわがそなたのためにクッキーを手作りするなんて二度とねえからさ。
There probably won't be not any other chance. Slowly stretched out my hand out to the illusion of the cookie plate and touched it. Just before I did, it became a cloud of gold butterflies and vanished into the darkness of the study. The illusions of Runaway and Virgilia also disappeared. However, the illusion of Beato alone still remained on the sofa.
何が不満か？
それも俺に言わせるつもりか。
新しきわらわがそなたの望んだ姿とあまりに違えば違うほど わらわが二度と蘇らぬ存在であることを思い知らされるから
Just eating you up.
であろう。いい女は逃したら二度と捕まらぬわ。今頃になってわらわがいい女だったと気づいた
Look,
であろうが。
there's a lot of bad mixed in with that good. Don't get too far ahead of yourself there.
うるせえ。お前なんか二度と現れなくてせいせいすら。
Beatalate sprawled out on the sofa and looked up at the ceiling. Valor also turned his back and moved to the window. For a while, there was
分かっ
silence.
ていると思う
分かってな。
が、そなたの期待するわらわはすでに消
分かってる。あのベアとは紛れもないお前自身ではなくて、かつてのお前とは異なる存在で、お前はもう絶対に蘇らない。
えた。わらわの魂とこの女らしさ、
Sparkling
性格
personality.
の良さ、気風の良
Splendid
さは
character.
魔女としての千年によって培われたもの。それは全く同じ千年を経ぬ限り、わらわ
Fucking
と同じ
sparkled
に
like
はな
crystals of
り、
nitroglycerin.
すなわちそなたがわらわを生み出そうと目論む時点ですでに生い立ちが異なるのだ。
ああ、お前が絶対に蘇らないなんて。あのショーアル・ベルンカステルに。
だが期待しているのであろう。
That he did.
新しきわらわがある豆腐の角にでもコツンと頭をぶつけ、過去の記憶を取り戻して見事復活みたいなのを期待しているのである。
Ah, if only such, narrative conveniences existed.
そんな妄想プロット、今時ラノベだって通用せぬわ。
うるせえ。お前だって
No,
か
those
つて
things are fucking trash.
俺が思い出して気づくのをずっと待ってやがったじゃねえかよ。
Then what? Does this mean that our relationship now is exactly the opposite of how it once was?
わらわもそなたがいつかはきっと気づく、そう信じてゲームを繰り返したこともあったがな。
どういう気持ちだったんだよ、お前が俺とゲームをしている時は。
Yeah, she probably had fun.
自分の胸に聞けとはよく言ったものよ。
But, kind of a little bit of a hollow, bitter feeling probably also. It's tough. Unless she didn't look so much like you, I wouldn't be so confused about how to feel about her.
まあ好きにせよ。かつてわらわはそなたを才能もてあそんだ。
Yeah, if you want to pay it back, now's the
今度
time.
はそなたがそれをわらわに復讐する番だ。
But also, that you isn't you, so it wouldn't be fair.
新しきわらわは何もわからずおろおろとするのみ。見るも焼くもそなた次第よ。積年の恨みも晴れるであろうが。
お前自身が相手ならな。さぞや気分も爽快だろうぜ。だが、あのベアとは
She done did
お
nothing.
前じゃない。
わらわでないというなら誰なのか。
お前によく似た別人だ。
だが紛れもなくわらわでもあるぞ。
そうだな。お前自身であり、そして同時に別人なんだ。
It's a little confusing.
ならば新しきわらわも災難なものよ。わらわの身代わりに慰み者とされておるわ。
Is it like, it's like the level 99 character at the end of like an fucking RPG? Are they the same character as, the fucking level 1 dude in the new stay file in the starting town at the very beginning? It's like, technically, but That's right. I mean, that might be the contradiction inside me. Because the new Beato seems like a different person, I can't accept her. Even though I know she's a different person than Beato, she keeps reminding me of her.
ならばいっそ、あれはわらわの娘とでも思え。
娘
That might make things a little weird in his head, but
わ
sure.
らわの血を引きし、うり二つの娘と解釈せよ。
Sure, she split off via... Oh god, what is it? Not osmosis, that's how, like, a cell absorbs water through its membrane. You know what I mean, like when a fucking... when, like, a single-cell organism, like, divides in half or whatever to reproduce asexually.
何しろわらわの分身であり、しかし1000年の経験を経ぬのだから、そう呼んでもおかしくはあるまい。
確かに。
わらわは死して娘を残し、そなたに託したと、そう思うのだ。さすればそなたも、あやつをどう受け止めればいいか、
Sure.
少しは考えやすいのではないか。
らしくもなくうまい例えをしやがって。
茶化すでない、あやつを。我が娘だ。わらわが死んで残し、そなたに託した忘れがたみだ。わらわの面影を押し付けるも自由。恨みつらみをわらわの代わりにぶつけて、慰み者としてもよい。わらわの罪を背負わせ、好きに苛めば、そなたの
I
服も
don't
晴れ
think
よう。
Balor's like a sins of the father kind of
そ
guy.
れが趣味でないというなら、わらわのように人の道を踏み外さぬよう正しく導くのもまた一興だ。あやつはそなたに尽くすように生まれながらできておる。
I mean, she's a good egg at the moment, but you know, it's a she has a little spice in there. She's a little saccharine sweet.
1000年の奇跡を経たならば、わらはそのものにさえなれるかもしれない。
かつてお前にされたように、ひんむいて
Yeah.
鎖で引っ張り回すことさえ自由だな。
I mean, you really want to, like, you know, fucking go wild, and no one's gonna stop you.
そうだな。今ならばそれ以上の非道なる所業さえ。
お前の分身であり、そして娘か。
Yeah, just add more complication to his feelings, why don't you? Without a doubt, she is exactly the same person, the same piece, which was created once more by the rule called Beatrice. However, when I can't accept it that way, I can interpret her as being Beato's daughter. This served as a clear guidepost on how to interact with her and smooth the uncertainty in my heart. And, finally, I could understand how cruel I had been to her just now. My tears poured to the ground, and when I followed them with my eyes, I noticed that a white card about the size of a business card had fallen onto the floor. It was the message card that had adorned those cookies. I had rushed her, telling her to clean up and leave right away, which is probably why it had fallen to the floor unnoticed. I picked it up and read the message on it. It was extremely short, pure, and sincere. It brought tears to my eyes, so I was sure that I could read it. And yet, my eyes were so blurred with tears that I couldn't see anything. Hopefully now you stop being such a goddamn sourpuss. The flood of light and sound slowly dissipated. The silence that followed was not broken by any noise, not even the sound of the wind and rain outside that had been so clearly audible moments before. Both Jessica and George timidly opened their eyes. Where in the world was this? It was a strange room they had never seen before. It looked like a Western tea room. Its furnishings were stylish and expensive. It felt as though a dignified person must own this room. Preparations for black tea were set on the table, and so was a chessboard, which seemed to be halfway through a game. However, there was something strangely out of place. The black and white checkerboard pattern made it feel like chess. But it looked like a very similar yet totally different game that no one knew of. In the same way that it both looked like chess and not like chess, the furnishings of this room, now the room as a whole, looked at first glance like a Western tea room, but also felt like something completely different.
ここは一体。
ジェシカちゃんにカノン君も。シャノンはどこに？
ジョージ様、
Oh, so,
私はここにお
ooh,
りま
there's
す。
little candies. Unless they're just like decorative rocks in those bowls on the windowsill.
僕もここ
Only
に
one
い
way
ま
to
す。
find out.
お嬢様、ジョージ様、このような場所にお連れしたことをお詫びいたします。
一体何がどうなってるんだい？
Yeah, what? Hello?
シャノンが取り出した蝶の羽のようなものが眩しく光り出したと思ったら。
私もだぜ。カノン君が黄金蝶のブローチとかいうのを取り出したら、それが輝き出して。
お嬢様、ジョージさん、まずはご無礼をお許しください。
You guys know where we are?
そしてどうか落ち着いてください。これから不思議なことが起こります。その不思議な存在は私たちを試すでしょう。
Look, strange things have been happening all the time.
試す？それがひょっとしてさっき君が言っていた僕たちが結ばれるために乗り越えなくてはならない試練というやつなのかい？
試練？
お嬢様にはまだ説明していませんでした。お
Yeah,
話しします。
fucking plot dump us.
しかしどうか、先ほどのお嬢様の言葉が本当なら、どうか力を貸してください。僕も精一杯頑張りますから、どうか。
私にはさっきから
Same.
何一つ分かりゃ
Could
し
you be a
ねえ
little
ぜ。
more concrete in your explanation?
ジョージ兄さんは何か知ってるの？
一応はね、今の状
You
況
have a
を。
bad habit in being dramatically vague with
驚いてはいる。
details, Canon.
しかしこれが避けられぬ試練で僕たちに不可欠だというならば、僕は何が訪れようとも。
試練？
カノン君、ブローチを。
The two of them brought the halves of the broken golden butterfly brooch closer to each other. As they grew closer, the strength of their bright yellow radiance increased.
ジェシカちゃんもどうか心の準備をしてほしい。
Yeah, you bring your fucking
僕
knucks.
にはすでにその準備がある。
どういうことだよ。私にはさっぱりだぜ。一体何が起こってるんだ？
試練だよ。愛し合う二人のための試練。
You have to defeat the fucking shadow version of your parents? George spoke those corny words without any hesitation. It was such an embarrassing line that Jessica couldn't help turning red. But the expression on George's face was so serious, it was almost grim, forced her to tense up as well. Shannon and Cannon were just as serious. With a glow in their eyes, as though they were taking part in a sacred duel, the pair of them brought the two gold butterfly wings together. Then, the wings they held became a single brooch and regained their magical power. An even more intense light filled the room, and the scene was burnt into the retinas of all present as the brooch shattered and two shining things flew out of it.
人は愛のために生きるのです。
Oh, it's you two.
そう、愛こそは世界なり。
愛の
So
力
those are your
の
names?
なんと偉大なことか。愛こそは全てなり。
It was probably said at the very beginning. and I just completely, like, skimmed over it. Suddenly, the voice of two people that they had never heard before rang out. What was this? Who were they? George and Jessica nervously opened their eyes. When they did, they saw that two demons had appeared there. Almost as though the brooch which had once been split in two had become them.
おや、おかしいぞフルフル。どうして我らはこのようなところに？
本当に不思議ですわ。ゼパル、人間と家具しかいない。魔女はどこ？私たちを呼び出すにふさわしい魔女の姿はどこに？
We used a magic item to do it.
ああ、僕たちは契約の魔女の名前をよく覚えているはずさ。呼んでみようじゃないか、フルフル。
そうね、ゼパル。私たちは契約の魔女。黄金の魔女の名前を知っている。
Currently indisposed.
じゃあ呼んでみよ
う。Well, except the piece on the board right now.
せーの。ベアトリーチェ。
Given their manner, exaggerated like a theater play, and their slightly ridiculous style of talking, it'd probably be hard to immediately comprehend the great power these demons possessed. Then the two demons called Beatrice's name, a cyclone of gold butterflies picked up throughout the room, then took the form of two golden witches. It's complicated, we don't have time to go into it.
僕たちだって二人だもの。ベアトリーチェがたまには二人だっておかしくはないさ。
こやつはわらわの分身にして妹だ。二人は同じにして一人と同じ。
Yeah, don't think too hard about it.
はじめまして。お久しぶりです。ベアトリーチェ様。私は
Like I said, don't think too hard about it, Jessica.
同感だね。しかし、
Roll with
当
the
然自
punches.
出するにはまだ早いよ。
Unlike Jessica, George had maintained his composure even during this bizarre scene. After all, Shannon had already told him what would happen next.
契約の悪魔たちよ、久しぶりであるな。ゼパル、それにフルフル。
Okie doke, I'm pretty sure we already, their character descriptions were at the beginning, but we'll read it again anyway. Zepar, one of the 72 great demons, presides over love and tests others through trials. Zepar grants the contractor undying and immeasurable defensive power. This gives the contractor the courage not to dread any of love's wounds. A hunter of love who loves to prey upon passive men. Oh. So adopt. Alright. Is of a different gender than Furfur. You don't say. Furfur. The pronunciation is odd. It's not fur. I know that. It's more like furf, and then the is the other syllable. One of the 72 great demons presides over love and tests others through trials. Furfur grants contractors endless, inexhaustible offensive power. This gives the contractor the courage not to fear any of love's barriers. A trainer of love who teaches passive men the taste of flesh is of a different gender than Zepar. Yeah, no herbivores allowed here.
ああ、お久しぶり。君は相変わらず元気そうだね。
それにしても可愛らしい妹君。潤んだそのみずみずしい瞳は水蜜糖の味がするんじゃないかしら。
Weird.
どうでしょうか。
Zepar and Furfur latched onto Beato from either side, wearing strange smiles. Each movement they made was exaggerated, yet polished, as though they were acting out a play.
それくらいにしておけ、契約の悪魔たちよ。
Yeah, they're theater kids, alright.
その悪ふざけも今宵限りで見納めとはな。寂しいもの。
Yeah, theater kids, they either leave high school with like the biggest fucking chip on their shoulder in the world, or as part of like a 10-person like gender fluid polycule. And it's pretty easy to tell which of the two these guys are in.
見納めとは。
僕たちのよりしろのブローチはもう壊されてしまったからね。
Saying it so.
つまりこれでもうお役御免というわけ。はあ、今まで本当に楽しかったわ。
Okay,
ベ
bye.
アトリーチェ。
Goodbye.
でも契約時の
Don't
取
let
り
the
決め
door
で
hit you on the
ね、
way out.
最後の別れにもう一度だけ力を貸さねばならないと決まっていたのさ。
だからこれが正真正銘最後の奇跡。
愛の奇跡は一度で十分だって、永久の愛に二度目は不要なのだから。
そういうわけ。愛し合う男女たちよ。
Don't feed in. Don't feed them.
ここに集いしは奇跡なくして恋を成就できぬ呪われし者たち。その奇跡を与える黄金鳥のブローチの力は泣こうがわめこうが今宵限り最後のチャンス。
It's the setting, this room with like it looks like a fucking TV set, because there's like nothing behind the walls and windows. It's just empty space, even the fireplace.
それは一組のつがいにしか与えられぬ。
僕は負けないよ。
お互い頑張ろうね。
Shen and Cannon exchanged a serious gaze. Both had already readied themselves to fight for the sake of their love's success.
よくわからねえけどよ。おかしな悪魔の力なんて世話になる気はねえぜ。
Jessica was finally starting to figure out the direction things were headed. These demons were probably planning to pit her and Cannon against George and
は
Shannon.
っきり言わせてもらうが、余計なお世話だぜ。私とカノン君の仲は私とカノン君でどうにかする。怪しげな悪魔の世話になんかなる義理はさらさらねえぜ。お嬢様、聞いてください。この試練を乗り越えなければ僕たちは結ばれないのです。
Well, at least you think that.
ジェシカ、受け入れよ。それが家具の身で人間と結ばれようと願
Yeah,
う
pass me the bottle of
身の
booze
程知らず
on,
に課せ
fucking
ら
on
れ
the,
る唯一の試練なのであ
it's
る。
not a shelf, it's a, oh god, what's it above the fireplace? A hearth? Is that a hearth? I don't know. Pass it over. I need it.
家具とか人間とか勝手に言ってろってんだ。私たちには何の関係もねえぜ。
お嬢様にはまだ話していないの？
No.
どう説明すればいいか。
Things have progressed a little quicker than expected.
カノン君もシャノンもジョージ兄さんもどうしてこんなうさんくさい話に耳を貸してんだ。人の恋路を邪魔するやつは馬に蹴られて死ねって決まってんだぜ。なんで悪魔たちに認められなきゃならねえんだよ。余計なお世話だぜ。
さては困ったわからず屋がいたものよ。
Yeah.
このままゲームを始めてもよいが、それではフェアとは言えぬな。
説明してあげてもいいのではないでしょうか。私にもよくわかりません。ジェ
Same.
シカさんとカノンさんの恋に何か問題でもあるというのですか？
やれやれ、どうやら君も君たちも何も分かっていないようだね。
私たちに祝福されれば二人の恋をゆっくり育むことができるの。うさんくさい悪魔も何にも関係ないわ。
Yeah, no need to worry.
でも、
No one's
も
suspicious
し
here.
僕らに祝福されなければ君たちの恋路は消えてなくなり、枯れてしおれて消えてしまう。
なんでそんなことが言えるんだよ。
運命だから。認めないのも自由、抗わないことだって自由。
抗わないとどうなるんですか？
It just happens.
恋路が終わる
Yeah.
と抽象的な言い方では納得すまい。はて、どう説明すればそなたの運命の袋小路を説明できるのか。
後ろ宮ジェシカ、君が信じているよりはるかに君たちの未来は善と多難。
How grim is grim?
魔法の奇跡が得られなかったなら 必ずや二人に災いが訪れるの。
そしてそれがかぶり二人を破綻させる。わらわもその過程を詳細に語るほど
Sure,
無
best
粋
leave
で
it
は
up to
ない。
the imagination.
しかしジェシカが信じぬというなら破綻の最後だけ語る。
Relationships can get messy.
カノンは使用人を辞めこの島を去る。永遠にな。
君は島を出て思い人を探す旅に出るだろうね。しかしそれは決して報われない。
そうしてあなたは嘆いて恨むの。
誰を？
あなたを。
僕をかい？
What is this?
いいえ、今のあなたを。
What is this comedy routine? With a dramatic gesture, the two of them pointed at Jessica. They were saying that, if she passed this by, it would be herself who would regret it later.
何を言ってやがる。
A bunch of shady salesmen.
思い人を失ったあなたはその時気づくわ。思いを遂げる試練を逃げたあの時の自分が憎いって。
そうさ、僕たちは未来の君からのメッセンジャー。どうか今のこの瞬間を君の恋に真剣になって戦いに臨んでほしい。
Jessica, this is how you get roped into a fucking cult.
もしあなたが未来の自分のメッセージに耳を貸さないならば、
王を飲み込む愚かな蛇はそのままど
You're
ん
gonna
どん
buy
飲
some
み
like
込み
fucking
続ける。
$500 mineral water.
永遠の苦悩の輪廻は自らを飲み込み
That'll make you
消
happy
え
or
るの
whatever.
みよ。
わけがわからない。
Jessica's confusion showed up on her face's anger. However, a memory of something she had heard a long time ago surfaced in the back of her mind. Unlike Nason, I don't plan on working here for many years. After just a few years, or possibly, if Nason ever decides to stop working here, I think I'll stop working too.
カノン君。
そなたが魔法の奇跡をシャノンとジョージに譲るなら二人は結ばれ島を出る。
And then off goes Cannon.
そしてカノンもまた島を出る。それは先への運命なのだ。では魔法の奇跡を得られたなら。無論カノンは島にとどまりいつまでもジェシカのそばにいる。ジェシカが望んだ音楽活動とやらも一緒に始められるだろう。それ以上の関係にどう進むかは愛し合う二人の問題だ。ジェシカが望むように二人だけでゆっくりと関係を育めばよい。
ただその場合は私とジョージさんもまた
But
結ば
why?
れません。
僕たちは
I know it's because you guys
自らの幸せ
think
と
it
未
so,
来
you
を
know,
かけて戦わねば
you'll
ならない。
will it into existence to be that
Umineko
way, but
ふざけるなよ。なんだよそれ。つまり自分たちが結ばれれば必ず相手は破綻するのか。そんな悪魔のゲーム冗談じゃねえぜ。
間違えるな。そなたらが奪い合うゲームではない。黄金蝶のブローチの力がなければ、
mm-hmm.
そもそもどちらの恋も実らぬ運命なのだ。
誰がそんな運命を決めたんだよ。
Fate.
恋を許されぬ家具に恋したそなたらの罪ゆえにだ。カノンはそなたにはっきりと家具は恋をする資格がないと拒んだは
Yeah,
ず。
you wouldn't break the rules, would you,
そなた
Jessica?
はそれを承知でカノンを恋の相手に選んだのだ。知らぬとは言わせぬ。
Though she couldn't accept any of it, Jessica was unable to argue back. Then, George spoke up with that soft tone that he always used to smooth things over. However, his expression was still ruthlessly serious.
ジェシカちゃん、こう考えないかい？
考えるって何を。
僕はね、シャノンを愛している。
Yes?
どんな試練も障害も全て乗り越えて結ばれようという覚悟を持っているよ。君はどうだい？
そりゃ私だって
多少のことでへこたれるほど嫌わなつもりはねえぜ。
ならそういうことだよ。僕たちは今試されているのさ。
Correct?
僕たちがどれだけ気持ちの強さを示せるかということをね。
ジョージ兄さんはこのわけのわからない
I
話で
mean, satisfied? No, but willing to accept it? Sure.
納得なんか必要ないよ。僕はシャノンと結ばれるために全ての試練と障害と戦うことを婚約指輪にかけて誓った。どんな理不尽な到底理解できない試練であっても僕に退くという選択肢はないね。
George spoke clearly and looked at Jessica with a cold gaze. By now, Jessica almost understood. If she kept on grumbling and refusing this demon's trial, the game between the two groups would automatically end with her defeat by default. In other words, George and Shannon would win. Then they would gain the miracle of magic, their love would be completed, and Jessica and Cannon would split apart, with Cannon eventually leaving the island and never seeing her again.
僕にとって君がこの試練を辞退してくれるならこれほど嬉しいことはないんだ。君と戦わなくて済むからね。そして君のカノン君への思いはその程度のものだったんだねと
Yeah, superficial puppy
蔑
love.
むことになるんだ。
It seemed as though George spoke ruthlessly, but he was actually being exceptionally fair. If it came to a loss by default, Jessica would never be able to clear away her lingering regrets. That would leave a bad aftertaste even for
僕たち
George.
はたった一つの奇跡をめぐって正々堂々と戦わなくちゃならない。その結果仮に僕が敗れたとしても互いがベストを尽くして戦った上での結果だ。諦めがつく。
Instead of having to eat it, you did like, did I actually even deserve this?
そしてだからこそ心の底から相手を祝福できるんだ。
ジョージの覚悟なかなかのものよ。
そこまで言われて。
君は逃げ出すのかい？
The two demons giggled and challenged her. Of course, George didn't laugh, but he too challenged her with cold eyes.
シャノンは
お許しください、お嬢様。私は ジョージさんと結ばれるために一歩たりとも引かない覚悟です。たとえ私の思いを貫くことがお嬢様の恋路を
Gotta look out for number one. Shannon had never spoken to Jessica with such serious and solemn words. Jessica was surprised. Jessica was surprised to realize just how strong the determination was that dwelt within her usually weak and clumsy friend.
カノン君。
僕はお嬢様と新しい人生を歩みたいです。その歩みが姉さんの幸せを踏み越えていくことを意味しようとも僕はここを引きたくない。
Cannon was also doing all he could to be strong. Yes, all of them were being serious and frank, and abandoning any naivety they might have possessed. All this about golden butterfly brooches and miracles of magic, and the trial that the demons were giving them. None of it mattered. Only one thing was being tested, whether or not they possessed the strong will to make their love come true. Jessica clenched her fists and hung her head, shaking while biting her lower lip. She was silent, but she would probably gain an unswerving? Okay. Unswerving will of steel before too long. Normally you go with like unwavering, but unswerving, sure. She just needed a little time first. The two demons who taunted people with dramatic gestures did not violate the silence that Jessica needed to resolve herself. Love brings about conflict, and this conflict gives rise to determination. As the demons of love, they could understand more fully than any others how noble that determination was.
ジェシカさん、そしてその魔法の奇跡は そなたであっても享受できるものであるぞ。私にもそれは。
Oh, gee, yeah, I wonder. She had thought that this had been about two pairs of lovers. Beato was surprised to suddenly hear that this had something to do with her as well.
黄金蝶のブローチの奇跡はそなたの願い、バトラへの行為を認められたいという願いさえも叶えることはたやすい。
George and Jessica are like, wait, what?
そしてその奇跡なくして結ばれることもまたない。
君も蚊帳の外じゃないということさ。
愛の沼を渡りきりたい。あなたの望みのはず。
僕たちは君の願いだって決してないがしろにしたりはしない。
そなたとバトラの関係とてやがてはただれ腐り落ちる。
Well, as it stands now, yes.
いくら楽観的なそなたであっても何かの奇跡がない限りやがてはそのような運命を迎えることをすでに理解しているはずだ。それは。
Beato hung her head sadly. She wasn't about to let the cookie incident break her spirit. However, it would have been a massive lie to say that it hadn't hurt her. The more she tried to get closer to Battler, the more she hurt him. However, she had been born in order to get close to Battler. She was like a hedgehog freezing in the cold and bunching together with others for warmth. She had approached him because of love and had been hurt for it.
そこまで分かっているなら。
You see, that's the thing with like hedgehogs and porcupines. They can like lower their quills, so that way they can just cuddle up.
川の宝くじに当たりなしとも言うでな。ゼパル、フルフル、このわらわの妹も加えよ。
So is what is Beato just like, you know, single man team?
よろしく。もう一人のベアトリーチェ。私たちは
Or are we just joinking another battler out of the void or something?
なぜなら僕らはゼパルとフルフル、愛を司る悪魔だから。
It'd be a little unfair to pull Peace Battler and just toss him in here with no explanation of what's going on. Like he's like, I got no fucking dog in this fight. Why am I here?
誰であっても僕は拒まない。すべての障害に勝利し、
Just one more body for the pile.
僕たちを祝福させる。もちろん逆でもさ、全力の僕たちを退けて成し得た恋ならば、僕もシャノンも心の底から勝利した二人を祝福することを約束するよね、シャノン。
はい、私たちは負けません。そして負けても
Sure, have fun, guys.
心の底から祝福します。
僕も同じです。僕は負けません。
いけねえ喧嘩だってんだ。買おうじゃねえかよ。私もカノン君も不先輩ってのだけはごめんだぜ。
それはそなたもだな。あ、
はい。
お父様に。いえ、バトラさんに私を認めてもらえる可能性が、私もそれに自らをかけたいと思います。
Give your best shot. That's all I can say.
よくぞ言った。それでこそ我が妹。ゼパル、フルフル、役者は揃ったぞ。
それでは始めようか、フルフル。
ええ、始めましょう、ゼパル。
たった一つの魔法の奇跡をめぐっての愛し合う者たちの試練を。
My fucking head. This is certainly a thing that is happening. A plot development has happened. Yep, it sure did. But anyway, yeah, I know it's a little short this episode, but yeah, I need to rest my brain after that. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you guys on next time for the next episode of Umineko, where we will continue their weird fucking couples reality game show thing that they're doing for the grand prize of a brand new Toyota Corolla and, you know, true love. Catch you guys later. Bye.